12 brutal truths about old age I wish I had known after 55. Aging is an undeniable part of life, yet, as I stand here at 89 and beyond, I've realized there are lessons, brutal truths really, that I wish I had known years ago. They would have saved me heartache, given me peace, and helped me embrace the years ahead with greater wisdom and grace. If you're reading this, my hope is to share these truths with you, not to scare you or make you feel regret, but to empower you to live your best life today, no matter your age. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. Your body is the house you live in. Treat it like a mansion. At 55 and beyond, you start to understand that your body is no longer the indestructible machine you thought it was in your youth. It's not just a vessel, it's your lifelong home, the place you'll live in until your final days. And just like a house, it requires care, attention, and sometimes renovation to stay strong. But here's the truth: many of us treat our bodies like an old car, pushing it beyond its limits, ignoring the warning lights, and then wondering why it breaks down. By now you may feel the consequences of years of neglect: aches, stiffness, or chronic health issues that don't bounce back like they used to. This doesn't mean you should give up on your body. On the contrary, now is the time to treat it with the respect it's always deserved. Think of your body as a grand, irreplaceable mansion worthy of love. Start with the small things. Nourish it with wholesome food, give it movement to keep it from resting, and prioritize rest to repair the wear and tear of life. Regular walks can be your foundation. Gentle stretches of cornerstone, and a little strength training, even with something as simple as resistance bands, can keep your walls standing firm. The goal isn't perfection, it's preservation. Treating your body well now won't rewind the clock, but it can ensure you have the energy and vitality to enjoy the years ahead. Don't wait for a health scare to remind you of how precious this house is. Start today, because every moment you care for it, it cares for you in return. You don't need a perfect body, you need a strong, dependable one, and that is well within your reach. 2. True friends are few, cherish them. In the tapestry of life, friendships are the golden threads that give it color and meaning, but as you age you realize something deeply sobering: not all threads last. Some friendships fray, others break, and life's inevitable changes leave you with far fewer than you might have imagined. This isn't a bad thing, it's a reality that sharpens your appreciation for the ones who remain. True friends, the ones who show up for you not just in moments of joy but in moments of sorrow, confusion, or silence, are rare treasures, and as the years pass their value only grows. At this stage in life you've likely faced loss, whether it's loved ones who have passed or friends who have simply drifted away. It's painful, but it also clears the noise, helping you see with clarity who truly matters. Cherishing these friends means more than just saying thank you or remembering their birthdays. It means actively making time for them, no matter how small. A gesture, a phone call to check in, a letter reminiscing about old times, a visit, even if it's just to sit in quiet companionship. These actions say, I see you, I value you, matter to me. You may also find that friendship at this age becomes less about shared activities and more about shared understanding. It's the friend who knows your history without needing an explanation, who reads the emotions behind your words and gives you the grace to simply be yourself. That kind of connection is rare and worth nurturing. Remember, the greatest gift you can give these true friends is your presence, fully engaged and without distraction. Let them know they are loved and appreciated, because as time passes you'll realize that it's not the number of people around you that counts, but the depth of the relationships you've built. True friends are the heartbeats of life's later years, and every effort to cherish them is time well spent. Decades of experience and wisdom, yet there is still so much to discover. Cherish your mind and keep it vibrant, not only for your own sake but for those around you who benefit from the brightness of your thoughts and the depth of your stories. Your mind is a gift, and it's never too late to make it stronger. 8. Change is inevitable, learn to flow with it. If life has taught us anything, it's that change comes whether we welcome it or not. By the time we reach 65, we've seen seasons shift, loved ones come and go, and familiar routines dissolve into memories. While change can be unsettling, resisting it only amplifies the discomfort. True peace comes from learning to flow with it, adapting gracefully to life's ever-turning tide. It's natural to feel a sense of loss as the years pass. Perhaps you've downsized your home, adjusted to life after retirement, or faced physical changes that make you long for the energy and vitality of your youth. These transitions can feel like a letting go of who you once were. But what if, instead of focusing on what's gone, you embraced what's unfolding? Flowing with change doesn't mean denying your emotions. It's okay to mourn the past and honor the person you've been, but don't let nostalgia trap you in a place where you can't move forward. Life is still happening right now, and every moment holds the potential for something beautiful. Adapting to change also means finding new ways to define yourself. If your career was once your identity, explore passions that may have been set aside. If your social circles have grown smaller, use this as an opportunity to forge deeper connections with those who remain. If your physical abilities have shifted, focus on what you can still do rather than what you've lost. There's a quiet power in surrendering to the flow of life, trusting that every season has its own gifts. With change comes growth, even in the later chapters of life. Each new phase is an invitation to discover parts of yourself you never knew were there. Embrace the unfamiliar, and you may find that what lies ahead is not just different but unexpectedly wonderful. 9. Material things mean less and less. As the years roll by, the shine of material possessions starts to fade. The things that once seemed so important, bigger houses, fancier cars, closets full of clothes, now feel like mere trinkets compared to the richness of a life well lived. It's not that material things lose all value, they simply fall into their rightful place, far below the intangible treasures of love, health, and connection. When you reflect on the best moments of your life, you realize they were rarely about things. They were about experiences, a heartfelt conversation, a trip with loved ones, the laughter shared over a simple meal. Yet, we often spend so much of our lives chasing the tangible, believing it will bring us fulfillment. By 65, you begin to see the truth. No possession can replace the warmth of holding a grandchild's hand or the peace of watching a sunset after a long day. Decluttering, both physically and emotionally, becomes not just practical but liberating. As you let go of the excess, the things gathering dust in your home or the grudges taking up space in your heart, you make room for what truly matters. A lighter home, free of unnecessary possessions, feels like a fresh start. A lighter heart, unburdened by past regrets, gives you the freedom to fully embrace the present. This isn't about rejecting comfort or denying yourself small pleasures. It's about understanding that the most valuable things in life aren't things at all. They're the relationships you nurture, the memories you create, and the legacy of kindness and love you leave behind. In the end, the less you cling to the material, the more room you have for the spiritual, the emotional, and the truly meaningful. That is wealth in its purest form. 10. Take responsibility for your own happiness. One of the harsh truths to accept, but perhaps the most liberating, is that your happiness is your own responsibility. It's a lesson many don't learn until later in life, but once you do, it changes everything. For much of our lives, we might pin our joy, or lack thereof, on external circumstances, a job, or relationship, or the approval of others. But by 65, it becomes clear that waiting for others to make you happy is a losing game. True happiness doesn't come from what others do for you, it comes from what you do for yourself. It's the result of choosing to find beauty in the ordinary, seeking meaning in your day-to-day life, and focusing on what you can control. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or moments of sadness, those are inevitable parts of life. But it does mean that your response to them is within your power. Taking responsibility for your happiness also means letting go of resentment and blame. It's tempting to look back and fault others for missed opportunities or pain, but holding on to those feelings only prolongs your suffering. Forgive, not because others always deserve it, but because you deserve the peace that forgiveness brings. When you release the weight of blame, you create space for joy. Happiness in your later years isn't about grand achievements or dramatic changes. It's about the small, intentional acts that bring you closer to yourself, tending a garden, savoring a quiet morning, reconnecting with an old friend, or simply taking a moment to breathe deeply and feel gratitude. No one else can do this for you. The sooner you embrace this truth, the sooner you'll realize that happiness was never something to be found. It's something you create, one choice at a time. 11. Don't let fear run your life. Fear is a way of creeping into your life as you age, often in subtler but more pervasive forms than in your younger years. It disguises itself as caution, practicality, or even wisdom. But at its core, fear seeks to limit you, to keep you from stepping outside your comfort zone. By 65, it's easy to fall into the trap of letting fear dictate your decisions. Fear of failure, fear of change, fear of being hurt, or even fear of not being enough. But here's the hard truth, fear is a terrible guide. When you allow it to steer your life, it robs you of opportunities for growth, connection, and fulfillment. It convinces you to play small, avoid risks, and settle for less than what you truly desire. Yet the reality is that some of the greatest joys and triumphs in life come from moving through fear, not avoiding it. It's not about pretending fear doesn't exist, it's about acknowledging it and choosing to act anyway. Take the trip you've been putting off because you're worried about the logistics. Start that project you've been dreaming of, even if you're unsure where it will lead. Reach out to a loved one you've grown distant from, even if the conversation feels daunting. Every time you confront fear, you shrink its power and expand your own. The truth is, life is too short to let fear be the loudest voice in the room. You have so much wisdom, strength, and resilience within you, qualities that fear cannot take away unless you allow it to. Trust in your ability to handle whatever comes next. And remember, it's not the absence of fear that defines courage, but the willingness to keep moving forward despite it. 12. Your legacy isn't about what you leave behind, it's how you live now. By the time you reach 65, the word legacy starts to hold more meaning. But legacy isn't just about money, property, or the physical things you leave for others. It's about the impressions you make, the values you instill, and the way you make people feel. Your legacy is built in the day-to-day moments, how you treat the cashier at the grocery store, how you speak to your family, how you offer kindness to strangers. It's the smiles you inspire, the lessons you teach through example, and the love you share without expecting anything in return. Often, we get so caught up in the idea of leaving a grand mark on the world that we overlook the small but meaningful ways we're already shaping it. A heartfelt conversation with a grandchild, a helping hand extended to a neighbor, or simply being present for someone who needs you, these acts ripple outward in ways you may never fully see. At this stage of life, you have the unique opportunity to focus on what truly matters. Whether it's mentoring younger generations, sharing your stories and wisdom, or giving your time and energy to causes close to your heart, you're already leaving a legacy of love, compassion, and purpose. The beautiful thing is that this legacy is ongoing. It's not something that starts when you pass. It's alive in every interaction, every relationship, and every moment you live with intention. So don't wait to become the person you want to be remembered as. Live that way now. Because in the end, the truest measure of your legacy is the difference you make in the lives of others, day by day, moment by moment. Conclusion: aging is not about decline, it's about refinement. By the time you've reached your mid-60s, you've earned the right to see life through a lens of wisdom. The truths you've discovered are not just lessons but treasures, gems polished by time, experience, and reflection. Aging is not a downward spiral, it's a process of refining who you are, like sculpting a masterpiece. You've let go of what no longer serves you and embraced what truly matters. These 12 truths are not just milestones of aging, they are reminders of the richness of life. They teach us to focus on connection over possessions, to take responsibility for our happiness, and to live courageously, even in the face of fear. They remind us that it's never too late to grow, to change, to love, and to make a difference. Aging is not the end of the story, it's a new chapter, one where you have the freedom to write it with purpose, grace, and joy. So as you move forward, embrace the wisdom of your years. Live boldly, love deeply, and savor every moment. Because the greatest truth of all is this: the best time to live fully is always right now.